What if nihilism pretends to be a truth about reality? Nihilism claims that life has no meaning, and for many people, that feels like the end of the conversation because to refute that, you'll have to come up with an argument to the contrary. However, that's not the end of the conversation, but it is where a fundamental mistake in the understanding of nihilism begins. There's one assumption hiding underneath nihilism, and most people never question it. The assumption that you and I can see reality objectively, completely neutrally, without perspective or interpretation, as if you could step outside your own mind and observe the truth. But this is wrong. In this video, we will explore why. Welcome to Renaissance Philosophy, where we make videos on philosophy and everyday life, narrated by a real human. Let's get into the video. According to Nietzsche, you never see things as they are. You see them from your perspective, through your values, filtered by your emotions, and shaped by your psychology. In the Genealogy of Morals, in the third essay, section 12, Nietzsche says this, quote, "There is only a seeing from a perspective, only a knowing from a perspective, and the more emotions we express over a thing, the more eyes, different eyes, we train on the same thing, the more complete our idea of that thing, our objectivity." This means that we humans, as subjective beings, ultimately cannot fully perceive reality in an objective sense. What Nietzsche is saying is that there is no neutral viewpoint, no God's eye view, no final objective vantage point that we can truly have. So let's apply that idea. When someone says life is meaningless, that sounds like a fact, like a conclusion about reality itself. But what Nietzsche would appear to be asking us is this: from what perspective? Because if all knowledge comes from a perspective, then nihilism is not the truth. It's just an interpretation. Nihilism doesn't discover that life is meaningless by itself. It interprets the world as meaningless, just like someone else might interpret it as meaningful, purposeful, tragic, or sacred. These are not facts hidden inside reality. They are ways of seeing reality. So the real question isn't, is nihilism true? The real question is, why are you seeing the world that way? And this is where Nietzsche goes even further. He is saying most people misunderstand objectivity completely. Objectivity is not removing emotion, removing a perspective, or becoming neutral, because if you remove all of that, you remove the ability to understand anything at all. Quite apart from that, as I said above, I think it is not possible for a subjective being such as us to contemplate objectively. Nietzsche, however, offers a solution to this. Instead, Nietzsche says, real objectivity is the ability to use many perspectives, to see something from multiple angles, to hold competing interpretations at once, to look through more than one sets of eyes. And suddenly nihilism doesn't look like the final answer anymore. It looks like just one perspective, one interpretation, one lens among many, and not strictly objective one at that. This is why Nietzsche ends that passage with something brutal. He asks, what if we tried to eliminate all perspective, all emotion, all interpretation? Would that give us pure truth? In his view, the answer is no. It would give us intellectual castration. Because without perspective, there is no interpretation. Without interpretation, there is no meaning. And without meaning, there is no understanding at all. So the problem with nihilism isn't just that it is bleak, it's that it overreaches. It takes one interpretation, life is meaningless, and treats it like an objective fact about reality. But Nietzsche shows us no perspective ever gets to do that. Not religion, not science, and certainly not nihilism. So maybe the question isn't, is life meaningless? Maybe the question is, what kind of perspective makes it appear that way? And whether there are any others you haven't tried yet. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.